Do you believe there are certain solid truths, or is there a different truth for every person? Oh, I definitely believe that there are concrete, solid truths. That goes like this scale that I was talking about, where atheism, agnosticism, theism, like there's this scale of beliefs, and with those beliefs come their own philosophies, and you can even make religion out of any one of them, even the religion of spirituality, any of these type, um, any of these things. I think that there are truths to each of them. There are small truths. So there can be subjective truths, and those subjective truths are typically smaller. Just because, the truth of the matter of how you feel in a situation, your feelings are valid. Your feelings are true, but that doesn't mean you are right about the situation. That doesn't mean that's what's going to solve the situation. Like, you could get angry and mad at a situation, and it's like, yes, it is true that you feel angry and mad, but that is very subjective to you. Should you be angry and mad about the situation that has taken place objectively? I don't know. You would have to create a situation for me to be able to observe, or for anyone to be able to observe for that matter. Um, but I do think that there are subjective truths that I think that they are lesser truths, and then the more objective that we examine truth, then the greater that they become. And I would say a greater objective truth is like the truth of science, and the truth of neuroscience, and that's gets into the metaphysical. But I do think that in regard to looking at subjective truths and then seeing objective truths through science, is that there are greater truths and lesser truths. Still truths to the individual, but also there can be objective truths as well. And some people use that as an argument for the existence of God, and I'm like, no, not really, no. I mean, I can follow the philosophical reasoning in that, but there's problems inside of that I'm not gonna get into right now. But certain truths, solid truths. Yeah, I absolutely believe that there are solid truths. And there are, I mean, yeah. So I guess every single point, that certain solid truths or different truths for every person. Yes to all of it. And so I think that there are, in regarding to that scale that I was talking about earlier of, theism, agnosticism, atheism, that there are truths embedded into all of that, that humanity, if they weren't so, and that goes for all of us, close-minded in a lot of ways, that we could benefit from so many truths that's inside that entire scale. Like, on the theism side, there is hope and faith. I'm not talking about belief. I'm talking about hope and faith. I think those are, important truths and principles to hold to humanity. And on the side of atheism, because of their worldview, like I was talking about earlier, that they have to develop a gratitude and joy for this life and for the material world, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. I think humanity could also benefit from that belief. And then, in the middle, agnosticism. There, I guess true agnosticism would be, oh yes, I do believe in something greater, but I don't believe that we have the ability to understand it. So they fully accept and embrace mystery, which is also needed for, I think, could benefit humanity everywhere, all around. And so, you have in, like, atheism doesn't, hard atheism I'm talking about, doesn't have that, because they're, solid God does not exist. And then, theism has that, or it's like, we know God exists and we know the mysteries of the world and the universe. God did all of it. And it's like agnosticism goes, actually, there are mysteries that exist that I don't even have the capability of understanding. And I think that's beneficial as well to, there's humility in that. And so there's this entire scale of thinking, and I use I guess belief or non-belief, spiritually as an example, but I think that can be applied to any scale, like go liberal, Democrat, Republican, conservative. You look at that entire scale, and there are truths in all of it. But people are super closed-minded to that and to the different sides of things where they just say, no, this is right and this is wrong, rather than what's actually bringing life in all of this and what's bringing death. Um, which that gets into a whole nother topic of conversation. It's just a different way of thinking about things. So I know that's a long drawn out answer to what your question was, but that's what I think in regards to truth.